the immersion in the game is also like listening for the effects that are being called. When you get hit by the boffer prop and you RPD, there'll be an effect that is carried with that contact between the weapon and you.
What's RPD?
Role-play damage. Yeah. When that boffer or that packet hits you, it will carry an effect. That effect is what you are going to resist with some sort of resistance stat, or you're going to take. When you are hit, your body is like a pool of hit points in game terminology. There are no locations to your body. You just take that damage to your blood total. Your blood pool is your hit points. Everyone familiar with the concept of hit points?
Yeah.
It's basically that red fluid that's inside of you and holes get poked in you and it falls out and you lose them. That very, very exactly the same here. You have that pool of blood, which is your lifeblood. When you get down to 0 lifeblood, you enter a state called
critical.
While you were in critical, you can moan and groan, but you can cannot use in-character statistics, or you call any effects. You cannot fight.
You're also not able to move under your own power. You are literally bleeding out on the ground.
People can carry you, though, and that doesn't harm you in any way. Unless they're
Unless they tell you it does.
Unless they're harming you while they're carrying you, which is entirely separate.
Hit two.
You have how many seconds?
60.
60 seconds to be in that critical bleeding out time before your body expires and you enter your
Death.
death count, which is
5 minutes long.
5 minutes long. That is your soul departing from your body. It's shuffling the mortal coil. While you're doing that, you can do nothing. You're deadsies.
You have flatlined.
You have flatlined.
It is worth noting that all living creatures flow through the same stages of living, critical, and death. Their durations may be different based on who they are and what they are, but at some point, everything, when it's killed, bleeds out and then dies.
So not always important, but can be sometimes important to end the monster's bleed out count. Make sure they die. Which can be done with a death blow, which is a 5-second count over the creature that has been killed.
It is generally designated, you will say death blow or something else to indicate you're starting it, and wind up for 5 seconds. If interrupted for any means, if another person interrupts you, comes and hits you, gets in the way, you are unable to complete it because your headsman's chop has been disallowed. However, if you are able to complete your 5-second warm-up and death blow a person, their critical count ends no matter how far they are into it, be it they've just begun or they are at 1 second and about to die.
That is the fastest and most efficient way of ending monsters. There are some skills in character that will allow you to do death blows faster than 5 seconds, but that is the general way in which it will happen, and everyone can do that. So once you have downed a monster with damage, death blowing it is the next step. Doesn't always have to happen, not always necessary to happen, but it will make sure that monster doesn't get back up. There are stats in game that can bring you back from both critical and from death. So still listening for stuff that's going on. Keep that count in your head the whole time. When you fall down, when you're in critical, keep that 60 seconds in your head on a little timer. And then once that timer is passed, start that 5-minute timer. Once that 5-minute timer has expired, and you have had no assistance in character, you go out of character,
generally designated by an orange headband, or arms crossed above your head.
And you step out of the engagement. Move off to the side, and generally be out of people's way. Your body has dusted in character. There's nothing left of you.
Literally, you are a pile of ash.
How often does this happen?
It varies event to event. There's not a quota to be met or anything like that.
They're not trying to kill us most of the time.
Like, how many battles are there? And in those battles, does everyone on one side die? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Generally, the way the combats flow is a players versus monsters
This
feel
is
to
a
it.
PvE game.
Okay.
If you're all familiar with that terminology.
Got
Or
it.
player versus enemy. You guys are the players. The enemies will be played by non-playing characters or NPCs.
Okay. All right.
There can be player versus player combat or PvP combat.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime that is going to be introduced or initiated, a staff must be present for it. The stakes are a little higher, and it needs to have that adjudication.
They're like a referee, kind of.
Exactly.
Exactly, and a staff member is any on-hand person who is putting on the game. They'll generally be designated with either an orange headband or a bright orange puffy jacket.
Because it can get cold sometimes.